First of all, my cursor is acting up of late. I think it might be transitioning. After a while of using the laptop, it will transition from this to this, and when it does, within a few minutes it will crash the laptop. So has anyone seen this before or know what's causing it? I prefer you not to theorise about the laptop being hacked, just factual answers please if you have any. Cheers. And speaking of the laptop, I was in the process of doing an annual clean of the flat. I'd hoovered up 2 million mouse droppings, tidied the living room, cleaned the kitchen, and I even cleaned inside of the fridge, which is something I normally do every 5 years. I'd left the worst job until last, and that is the room that I spend most of my time in before leaving each night to ride to my sleepover in the car. And this is the room where my laptop resides most of its life. Whenever I enter my room, I wear a biohazard suit because my room harbours lethal toxins and noxious gases, all excreted from my various orifices, and which, once excreted, exponentially increase in deadliness. There's also the hundreds of decomposing mice which died immediately on sniffing my malodorous gases, so you'll understand why the biohazard suit is essential. It was whilst carefully cleaning my room that I clumsily managed to knock the laptop from its desk, and it fell 5 foot to the floor. My bike camera has spilled onto the uncompromising surface of many roads, and despite its war wounds, it still functions well. But sadly, the laptop is not quite so robust, and when I switched it on, I was met with this. Fortunately, there is a workaround, and that's by using a separate monitor. So I can still go online and work on videos, etc., but I'm rooted to the spot and can't take the laptop out anymore. And this is great news for my gangstalking neighbour in the flat directly below. I don't know if any person here is aware of a famous experiment called the Milgram experiment. If not, I'd recommend my viewers have a read of it. The idea was to see how far people could deviate from being good, ordinary people if a perceived authority figure gave them instructions, ones to gradually torture a stranger. I doubt my neighbours in the flat below are respectful of authority figures, but they sure will be happy to receive financial help or rewards for taking part in my invisible torture. As you know, they can't personally fuck with my sleep because I no longer sleep in the flat, but they can still carry out noise campaigns and other triggering elements, and I believe are also provided with the means to secretly harm me. I won't play down any cumulative effect of targeted noise harassment, shadowing when I'm in the flat and letting me know that I'm located at any time, but this almost pales into insignificance compared to what I believe is trained on me when I'm staying still for any duration. The participants in the Milgram experiment had no idea the electrocution they thought they were doing was not real, but they continued with their torture. My neighbours are aware of what they're doing, and the incentives to harass and harm me invisibly far outweigh any risk or conscience. Do you seriously believe the football supporter's shirt my neighbour is wearing is anything other than a proud boast of what he gets up to as part of my targeting? And never forget, the police are colluding in the targeting program and the torture. Some targets of these covert operations have said that their partners and even their pets are often not left out of the targeting. I can't vouch for any authenticity of targets or such claims, but it has been a major concern that my brother, a joint tenant living with me in this flat, could be subjected to the more harmful parts used in my targeting. He's aware of the noise harassment and flat 7 tenants' ability to locate me in the flat and even hear me. So could my brother's suicidal thoughts over the last few weeks be because of something trained on him when he's in bed? I'm doing what I can to expose this targeting program and have so far persisted with legal means to bring this into the light, but at every turn obstacles are put in my way or help just isn't forthcoming, so I'm getting ignored or worse. Some of you will know my brother has been diagnosed with a serious mental condition, and that diagnosis many years before my targeting began. He has had suicidal thoughts before, but those dark thoughts haven't persisted for as long, which is why I have every reason to believe the fuckers in the flat below could be playing a major part in how he is currently. What I don't require is sympathy for my dilemma, nor criticism for fucking off every night to relative safety in the car. If the police hadn't deliberately gaslighted my evidence back in 2019, we would not be in this serious predicament. I am benevolent enough to allow them to agree they had made an error in appraising the evidence I supplied back then, and with the additional proof acquired since, I would allow London's Metropolitan Police to realise, let's call it a huge mistake on their part, and so make amends, however late in the day.